Hey everybody, welcome back. It's me, your old pal Orpheus here. Another edition of Orpheus Plays. And yes, we are in the home environment here in Blade and Sorcery, but we're not going to be having a beat 'em up, smash 'em up, slash 'em up kind of thing today. We're going to be talking a little bit more about mental health awareness. I'm trying to start a little series here where we talk really openly about mental health issues and mental health conditions and different things to survive, different ways to survive and go on living and surviving in a world where you might feel unsafe, you might feel different, you might feel weird, but you're not. You're not alone. You never will be, because other people out there have the same things going on as you. Maybe not the same exact situation, but they have the same outcomes, the depression, the sadness, things like that. So if that's not your thing today, you're not in the right headspace to kind of talk about something like that today, that's fine. Feel free to tune into another couple of playlists that I have. I played mostly this, Blade and Sorcery, but occasionally I play some other games. There's a playlist right now for Iron Man VR that has 2 videos on it. Whatever. You get the point. If you want something that's a little bit more crazy story fun, feel free to go check some of those out. I'd love it. I'm glad you guys are here. And I hope that you right now today are doing great. And if you decide to tune away today, that's awesome. Hope you're doing awesome. And we'll see you on the next one. Now, for those of you that are sticking around, I do want to make a little preface statement so that we're clear on this. I am not in any way a licensed professional. I don't hold a degree in anything. I do not have any sort of certification for mental health or for any kind of diagnosis or treatment or anything like that. But what I do have is a lifetime full of experience. Is a lifetime full of experience. I've dealt with these issues, and I've survived through these issues. And I've come through, maybe not a better person, all right? Sometimes the experiences that you have in your life don't make you better, but they make you stronger. And everything that happens to you in your life just builds a little bit on that wisdom, that library of knowledge that you have built in order to help yourself survive. But some of those coping habits may be bad. You might be doing things that are self-destructive. And if you're not seeking help for these things and you're noticing that you're becoming self-destructive, if your behavior is impacting your job, your life, your family, find help. It's out there. It's easy to get. Today, though, we're going to talk about something that's a little bit more personal. I've mentioned in several of my videos that I have a traumatic brain injury. I've had one since I was 8 years old that was made much worse about 9 years later in a car accident. And since then, I've been dealing with a lot of challenges that get worse over the years. This is a degenerative condition that I have. I also have schizoaffective disorder. I hear music all the time. It's a schizophrenic condition. I don't take any medication for that because the music having it there all the time has become my constant friend. Occasionally it becomes my enemy, but those are times where I feel a lot of stress. Now, having this brain injury has given me over time a different perspective on life. Now, I didn't know it was actually a brain injury. Excuse me. Allergies are kind of rough today. Whew. But I didn't know I had this condition, an actual brain injury, until my therapist suggested, have you ever gotten a scan of your brain, an MRI done? Because I'd had CAT scans, and there was no obvious, tumors or anything in there. Nothing obvious from a CT scan. Okay, those are a little bit less detailed than an MRI. And so I went to get one of those done. And that was a really odd experience. They'll put you into a tube sometimes, or they have two plates, like a table and a round plate on top of it. And they'll put you in between them, and they have a little cradle for your head, or for whatever part that they're doing that. They'll make sure that you don't move. And they put me in this thing, and it was really odd. When you get an MRI done, it's energy that excites the molecules in your brain, the electrons and everything, and it bounces particles off of them, which allows it to pick up the image of things and turn it into something that you can diagnose and look at things for. But when they do that, they tell you that there's you won't have any side effects, you won't have anything go on during the procedure. You'll just, if you choose music, and I chose jazz, it always has calmed me down at certain times. They said when you have the music going, that's all that you'll really be experiencing. Just chill out. You might have a little claustrophobia. It'll be fine, I kept my eyes shut the whole time. And it was loud. There was a lot of rumbling, and it felt like vibration, but it was like the low frequency humming that came along with something vibrating, like a controller, right? When you hear that, right? And I started seeing like pinwheels in my eyes first. And then that kind of spread out into different colors that were flying around, and I started seeing sparks occasionally that would go through my vision. The procedure, the scan went fine. Nothing really weird happened. I was used to different weird noises and seeing things. I see things in my peripheral vision. Sometimes they'll just kind of flit off, and I kind of, do one of those. But it was kind of like that. They don't really freak me out. I was just kind of taking mental notes on what it was like. And about a week later, we get the scans back, and it turns out I have a number of lesions, micro lesions through the center of my brain that were could only have been caused by either vascular disease, which I don't have, or trauma, like physical trauma that had occurred way earlier in my life. And so the only things that had happened to me were the accident where I hit my head when I was 8 and my car accident later on in life. So we found out about that, and it was an awesome experience. Honestly, it sounds weird, but when I got the results back and the doctor sat down with me and started talking to me about it and explaining it, suddenly it was like someone put a key into a lock and turned it. Because suddenly I started to look back on all these things that I've done, all these choices that I've made, all the difficulties that I had they were above and beyond like having bipolar. They were far away from having schizoaffective disorder, which is a combination of schizophrenia and bipolar, by the way. It was way beyond that, and medication wasn't helping. Therapy wasn't helping. I would go to therapy and I would be like, yep, I'm feeling great. Everything's good, because I was at that point. But then I'd go out and do something really dumb and get in trouble for it. Even though we'd worked on like impulse control and everything, and I was on medication for impulse control. Did nothing. But suddenly I was like, I understand more. Suddenly I get it, right? I'd had this brain injury my whole life, and it's not an excuse at all. But it is an explanation, and maybe a few things. It might be mitigating circumstances, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was unavoidable because of some sort of chemical imbalance that paired up with my brain issue. Well, sometimes those challenges are every day there's challenges, things that I face that are more difficult, especially as I get older. The condition gets worse. And some days it's I can't talk. Some days my coordination is off. Some days my memory is completely gone. Or sometimes it can be all of that. Well, yesterday was a bad day for my brain injury. I woke up and I was immediately overwhelmed by everything. Every sound, every smell, every light in my house was overwhelming. And it's not like having a migraine headache, right? When you feel that and like every light around you hurts and there's pounding in your head, maybe like a hangover. This wasn't like that. It was like the sensor, the dial on my senses was turned up to like 11. But then it started to turn into panic, and I couldn't figure out things. I have a couple 3D printers, and I put together builds and stuff. And I'd had one that I was working on, during the day. I do that. And I had a piece printing from overnight, and I went out to the printer and I looked at it, and I didn't know what I was supposed to do with those parts. I turned around and I looked at all the other parts that I had, and just the night before, it was no problem. I had aligned them, and I was, I'm going to wake up in the morning and start doing this build, and the parts made no sense. I looked at them, it was just a bunch of plastic sitting in front of me. It's like a puzzle that you don't have the box for, but you also can't figure out any of the pieces that fit together. And it was more than just that confusion. It was, I couldn't tell what time it was at certain times. My wife came home and I was she was home yesterday, and thank God for that. All day I was just telling her that I didn't know what was going on. I would be in tears half the day because of it. And it was a combination, like sometimes I couldn't talk very well because my thoughts were racing and I couldn't get them out. And normally this would be like a mania sort of thing, or manic like phase of the bipolar, and I'm on medication for it, so it doesn't happen this drastic, not even close anymore. I also have autism, which sometimes can cause a lot of emotional and sensory distress. That becomes something that I can't control, and I feel so panicked and so lost. Now, I'm doing these videos to share with you kind of what it's like if you don't either know if there's other people out there that suffer the same as you do. Because I was horribly depressed all day yesterday, too. I didn't know why. I just felt miserable, and I didn't understand what was going on. And I know other people like you might have that same thing going on. And I want to share these stories to give you an insight into how other people deal with it. I had to take the whole day just doing nothing. I just sat around, and I sat on the couch and I vegged. I didn't even have TV. We didn't have music on, nothing. I just sat there quiet the whole day. And things started to get better later on at night, but sometimes that's what it's like when you have a traumatic brain injury. But it's also sometimes what it's like when you have depression, when you're feeling hopeless. If you are to the point where you feel hopeless and nothing seems like it's going to go well for you in the future, find help, please. Find someone in your area that can assist you. There are crisis centers across the United States and across the world that can help you through this if you're going through it right now, or if it's something that you have been going through. Pick up the phone. If you need 911, call them. But there is help available. There are apps that you can go to. If nothing else, maybe it helps you to hear other people's real stories, other people's real experiences. And I have a mental health playlist that I'm putting together with this that hopefully will build like a little bit of knowledge for everyone to be able to see life isn't always a laugh. My videos, except for the mental health ones, and some of those are still a little bit lighthearted, my videos are fun and weird and wacky, and I tell all these stories about things that have happened to me, and a lot of them are amazing. And there's a real side to me on the flip of that is sad and lonely and has gone through some messed up things in my life, and I know you might have too. You may know people who have gone through something that is hard, that is traumatic, that is something that destroyed your soul. But guess what? You're going to make it. I made it, and I'm still making it today. You can too. If you feel that you want to ask any questions below, please do. I will do my best to answer all of them. And although I can't give professional advice, I might be able to help you through something. I might be able to help someone that you know through something. And if nothing else, if you're watching this video, you have an interest in your future. You want to know why and maybe try to get a little better. And if that's what happens, if I only help one person through this video or through any of them, I've done my job. I've done what I came here to do, and that makes me feel wonderful. And I am glad that you're here and that you're part of this wonderful community that we're building. I appreciate you. We'll see you on the next one. I hope you have a great day. Bye.